For my internship, I am creating an online training module to provide instruction on writing quality IFSP outcomes. The IFSP is the Individualized Family Service Plan. Like the IEP, the Individual Education Program, it is the legal document that guides the direction of every child's BabyNet early intervention experience. IEPs have goals and IFSPs have outcomes, or statements of what the family would like to see their child accomplish and how the IFSP team will work to accomplish those outcomes. The content used for this module was available as a package training and was provided by the National Early Childhood Technical Assistance Center, or NECTAC, at the Franklin Porter Graham Institute at UNC Chapel Hill. They provide technical assistance to states just as we provide technical assistance to BabyNet frontline staff. I trained approximately 200 BabyNet professionals this past summer on this content, but in a face-to-face format. The goal of this module is to create an equal or superior learning experience to the face-to-face version in an online format. BabyNet is South Carolina's IDEA Part C program. IDEA is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and Part C is specific to infants and toddlers birth to 3 years old. I work for Team for Early Childhood Solutions, which is a project at USC's School of Medicine Center for Disability Resources. TEX contracts with BabyNet to provide training and technical assistance and manages the BabyNet Part C credential. TEX offers face-to-face, online, and blended professional development activities to help BabyNet staff earn credential renewal hours. All those who provide services to BabyNet children must have the BabyNet Part C credential. I also manage Textbook, our learning management system, which is used by approximately 1,500 BabyNet professionals. Our LMS is currently used to house narrated presentations and lesson tests. This will be our first attempt at providing a more interactive online learning experience. The learners realize this is a pilot and their feedback will be key in making revisions and edits before it is available statewide. I used the ADDIE model to create this online learning module. Because NECTAC had already created the training package, my biggest challenge was to rework the content to make it a better fit for an asynchronous online learning module. In the next few slides, I will walk through each phase of the ADDIE model. Analyze. At the conclusion of every TEX training, we always give our learners a training evaluation. One of the free response questions is, what other information do you need to know to be successful? Overwhelmingly, we get feedback that providers want more training on writing IFSP outcomes. We find a mix of requests for face-to-face and online learning. Some prefer face-to-face, and others complain that they can't be taken away from billable activities or home visits to travel to participate in face-to-face trainings. Others don't feel like they are able to interact and talk with their peers well enough in online trainings. Based on the results of supervisors' quality assurance measures, we have been informed that IFSP outcome writing is an immediate need for most IFSP team members. We have selected 20 BabyNet professionals who represent 6 roles. We have ongoing and intake service coordinators, special instructors, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and speech-language pathologists. NECTAC recently made revisions to their original training package and divided the one long presentation into 6 smaller presentations. This makes it much easier to break the training up into smaller deliverables, maybe a few shorter webinars, online modules, or perhaps 2 hour-and-a-half face-to-face lunch and learns. In place of a 3-hour half-day face-to-face training, I decided to stretch this online module over 3 weeks. They will be responsible for 1 hour of instruction per week for 3 weeks. This will allow time for reflection and application. Week 1 will not include responses, as I wanted users to get used to the forum or discussion board format first. Learners will have to respond to 2 classmates' posts for each discussion prompt during weeks 2 and 3. Some presentations were narrated using Articulate Presenter. Others were saved as PDFs with instructions for reading and reviewing. NECTAC has provided a multitude of additional resources. As not to overwhelm the learners, I had to decide which resources were necessary and which would be offered as additional and not required for review. Based on content in the presentation, I created 2 discussion prompts for each week. Most discussion prompts were taken directly from group activities that were typically done during the face-to-face version of this training. Because these activities were originally created to get participants talking and working together in a face-to-face setting, they make for great discussion prompts. After the participants were determined, I sent a series of emails explaining what they should expect in the upcoming weeks. Using Camtasia, I created a screencast tutorial of how to navigate the module, focusing mostly on the discussion board because our users have never used the discussion board in textbook before. After they watched the 15-minute screencast, they were then able to begin the Week 1 assignments. Week 1 assignments are due Wednesday night by midnight. To date, I have 2 students who have completed Week 1. I assume most people will be finishing up around Wednesday night. I have received feedback from a few users who encountered a few minor issues accessing the system, but those were quickly resolved. This module has no formal test. Users' progress will be monitored through their discussion board interaction. I will send out a weekly email that summarizes the thoughts of participants' posts and clear up any misconceptions if necessary. I think this will be more efficient than replying to every post. I'm also requesting several co-workers and a technical assistance provider at NECTAC who worked on the original face-to-face training package to browse through the module and offer any feedback along the way. Based on time constraints, I was not able to get feedback prior to implementation, but I'm okay with that since this is just a pilot. I have gotten some initial feedback from a few participants, including the following quote. Each participant will also have to complete the same end-of-course evaluation that the face-to-face participants completed. I will then compare and contrast the results of each group. The most difficult part of this project is staying on schedule. This project was supposed to be one of my main assignments for work and now has been pushed down the list in place of more urgent needs. So I'm not able to spend as many normal working hours on it as I had first hoped. Another difficulty is relying on others to participate to be able to move into the implementation phase. I had to end up using an alternative plan to get the 20 necessary participants who represented various system roles. I also had never used the forums or discussion board feature in our LMS. It does not thread quite as well as Blackboard and required a few workarounds. These participants are well aware that they are participating in a pilot, and the module will be revised for the next group based on their feedback. I can't wait to see how this turns out in the end.